Hey everyone, welcome to the Circle of Force tutorial. This is Adam and I'm going to teach you how to use the Circle of Force to figure out what major scales or what keys contain sharps and flats and what those sharps and flats are. We've already talked about the major scale formula, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, and applied it to the fretboard. And you can see how that applies to the fretboard here with C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Now every major scale contains every note of the musical alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And when you apply that whole, whole, half, etc. formula, these are the notes you land on. Now, C is easy and nice and clean because there are no sharps and no flats. But if you play in any other key in music, you're going to end up with at least one sharp or one flat. For example, if you move down 3 frets to an open A and start that as your major scale, you use that formula, and these are the notes you end up on. You end up with landing on 3 sharps, C sharp, F sharp, G sharp. Alright, now instead of having to memorize a chart like this, what we're going to do is use the Circle of Force. Now what's important about this chart is this. The top row is the chromatic scale. That's every note that we have available to us in Western music. The row below it is what we call the enharmonic equivalent of each of these notes. So A and A, B and B, that's easy, they're the same tone. But A sharp and B flat also are the same tone. They're the same note. They're just called different names. If I'm playing in a sharp key, I'll call it an A sharp. If I'm playing in a flat key, I'll call it a B flat. So how do I know of all these which keys are sharp, which keys are flats? Well, the Cycle of Force will tell us. Alright, this is different than the cycle of fifths or the circle of fifths because it's pretty much in reverse. Well, it is in reverse, not pretty much. It's in reverse. I prefer to use the cycle of force because, one, the guitar is tuned in fourths almost entirely. Music tends to move in fourths as opposed to moving in fifths, and for me it's just more intuitive. Okay? So we're going to do this. The first thing to notice is that all of the flats in the Cycle of Force are on the right side. All of the sharps are on the left side. So every key or every major scale that falls on the right side of the circle will contain flats and no sharps. Every key that falls on the left side of the circle will contain sharps and no flats. Now, the only key that has neither of these is C, so we're going to put that at 12 o'clock. Splits the difference, okay? And then we're just going to number around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just like a clock. Okay? Now, an important expression that's easy to remember that will help you understand the circle is bead, glass, can fracture. And this is what we call the order of flats. This is the order that the flats go in. The only really key that or major scale that you need to remember is the key of F. The flat side starts with F, alright? And it contains one flat. Now, how do I know what flat it is? Well, I use the order of flats, B, E, A, D, G, C, F, alright? We'll get into that in a minute. Now, after the key of F, you've said this is the flat side. We start with that order, B, E, A, D, G flat. Alright, and you can continue on, but we're going to stop it here. Alright, B, E, A, D, G flat. Because you'll never really play in C flat or F flat, because why not just call it a B or an E? Alright, so figuring out which flats contain, again, flat keys are the ones that contain flat notes. Alright, what we're going to do, as we said, we start with the expression bead, glass, can fracture. Now F is the first one on the right side, on the flat side, so it contains one flat. It contains the first flat, B. B flat contains 2 flats, so it's going to be B, E. B flat, E flat. E flat contains 3, B flat, E flat, A flat. Now let's take a look here. Let's say that you are out playing a gig and somebody says, alright, we're playing this song in the key of A flat, and you're like, oh crap, I need to figure out what notes, if I'm going to take a ride on this, I need to figure out what notes I can play, what flats I can play. So basically, you use this expression and you find your letter or you find your key in it, and then you go to the next key in the expression, the next note in the expression, and that will end your flats. So if I'm playing in the key of A flat, really quickly I'm going to say, all right, bead. All right, A flat is going to be the next to last flat, so I can play B flat, E flat, A flat, and D flat. There you go. And those are my flats. Everything else is normal. C, G, all those are just natural notes. These are the only flats. Now let's try it D flat. All right, bead glass. Well, there you go, B, E, A, D, G. And G flat, well, just about everything almost is flat. B, E, A, D, G, and C. Okay? F is the only one that's not flat. All right? And that's really all there is to it. If you have the notes and you need to figure out, I'll put them in the order of this. If I know that I'm playing A flat, B flat, and E flat, we'll put them in the order of bead glass can fracture, and then it's going to be, the key is going to be your second to last flat. B, E, A, I'm in the key of E flat. B, E, A, D, G, I'm in the key of D flat. And that's it. That's all there is to it. Easy. And the sharp side is even easier. Let's go ahead and number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And the expression we're going to use for the order of sharps is Father Charles goes down and ends battle. All right, and if you want to remember the flat side with an expression similar to this, you can say battle ends and down goes Charles's father. Okay, most of your guitar keys will have sharps. Okay, any of these sharp keys will not have any flats. All right, so as guitar players, when we're composing songs, most of the time we're going to be composing in sharp keys. All right, so how do we figure out which keys we draw on the sharp side? Well, basically you go to the next letter in the alphabet, the musical alphabet. So F, Father Charles goes down and ends battle. F, the next letter in the musical alphabet is G. So G will be my first one. Father Charles. D is going to be the next one. Father Charles goes, the next letter in the musical alphabet is A, because we start over at A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A. After D comes E, and after A comes B. All right, kind of cool, because all it does is C, F, B, E, A, D, G, B, E, A, D, G. Pretty neat how that works. Don't know why, but that's it. So anyway, and we follow the same kind of logic. So number 1, G has 1 sharp. So in order to figure out what sharp that is, I use this, Father Charles goes down and ends battle. And you'll notice we just do reverse of what we just did. F sharp. Take the letter that comes right before it in the musical alphabet, and that's going to be your last sharp. So D sharp, the last sharp, is C sharp. So Father Charles, F, C sharp. F sharp and C sharp. All right. Father Charles goes down. All right. Stop at G sharp because G sharp is right before A. All right. E, the letter before it is D. So Father Charles goes down, F, C, G, D. B flat, the letter before it is A. Father Charles goes down and F, C, G, D, A. And then G flat is the same thing as F sharp. So if I'm playing in an F sharp key, then I will go F, C, well, the letter before it is E. So F sharp, C sharp, D sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp, E sharp. And that's all there is to it. All right. I hope this was useful for you. Hope it explains it, and I hope that you practice in your head, on paper, writing down different keys and trying to figure out what sharps and flats are in those keys. I'll see you next time.